Our call started around 8:30 a.m. And then just as she says he just left, somebody walks back into the house and she starts yelling, "Get the out of my house, get the out of my house." And the phone just dropped.
Hi there, it's 911. Do you need the police, the fire, the paramedics?
I look everywhere, and then when I look downstairs, I saw she's laying downstairs, and then there's blood all over the floor.
On March 28, 2022, in South Ottawa, Canada, a man made a frantic call to 911, which prompted paramedics to respond to a subsidized townhouse on Hetherington Road. The caller is a father, claiming he arrived to drop off his 2 children, only to stumble upon a nightmare. Inside the dark basement, 24-year-old Marie Gabrielle, who is affectionately known by Mimi by those who love her, lay dead on a concrete floor, surrounded by a dry pool of her own blood. At first glance, investigators had to consider all angles. Marie had recently started seeing a new man, a local boxer named Jean Israelon. Could this have been a crime of passion by a new lover? Or was it a horrific climax of 7-year campaign of control and isolation by a man who refused to let her go? Today, we're dissecting every gritty details of this case to uncover the truth, the tragic loss, and the ultimate justice for Marie Gabrielle.
This video discusses themes of domestic violence, intimate partner abuse, and murder, which may be distressing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Sakpasi everybody, welcome to Mimis' True Crime Podcast. In this channel, we explore lesser known cases that deserve more attention and share tips on how you can stay safe and informed. I invite you to join our small community by clicking the subscribe button, like and share this video if you care. Now, let's dive into today's case. To understand this case, we have to look closely at who Marie truly was. Because of her long-term relationship, many in the community and early media reports mistakenly assumed Marie was Haitian. But that was a misconception, born strictly out of her proximity to her partner, Jean Fenelon, who is Haitian. Marie Gabrielle was actually born and raised in Kololi, Gambia. Kololi is a popular coastal resort town located in the West Coast division of Gambia, West Africa. Her mother, Fatou Gabrielle, is also Gambian, and her father, Andy Stone, is a British citizen. This meant Marie was actually a British citizen by descent. So why did she go by the last name Gabrielle instead of Stones? When Marie and her brother, David, were very young, their parents divorced while living in Gambia. Following the split, their father moved back to the United Kingdom, while their mother assumed full care of the children. Together, Fatou, David, and Marie immigrated to North America, eventually settling in Canada. Because they were raised independently by their mother, both children took their mother's last name, who is Gabrielle. Marie wasn't just a headline or a victim. She was a vibrant, beautiful, and deeply loved person. In middle school, she met a girl that would become her lifelong best friend. Her name is Nolan Tassi. This is what Nolan said about her best friend.
We were in middle school when we met. She was very lively. She loved to laugh. She loved to pull pranks. Marie was very kind. She just the most beautiful smile. She was funny. And then once I moved to Fredericton, our friendship became slightly distant. But then we'd find our way back to each other and just pick up like nothing ever happened. Yeah, she just became a rock to lean on, and I became a rock for her to lean on too. Yeah.
However, Marie's entire world revolved around her 2 beautiful children. her young daughter, and her infant son, Asher. She wanted nothing more than just give them a safe and happy life. Sadly, her ability to build that life was systematically stripped away by a predator that began when she was just a teenager. Marie was born on March 28, 1998, and her nightmare began in 2017. When she was just 17 years old, she met a man named Jean-Bruno Fenelon. Fenelon was Haitian, and he was very well established in the Ottawa Black Francophone community, or the French community in Canada. At the time of that incident, he was 40 years old, which made him about 16 years older than Marie. When they first started dating, her father said that Marie kept her family completely in the dark about not only Fenelon's age, but also his name, so they couldn't look him up. Over the 6 or 7 years they were together, Fenelon isolated Marie entirely from both her friends and her family. He controlled everything in her life. She wasn't allowed to have a social media page. Because her digital life was completely gate-kept, any public pictures that we see of Marie were provided directly to investigator by her father. He also monitored her phone and tracked who she spoke to. Let's check out what her father said about her phone.
Sometimes I'd be having 2 or 3 months conversations with Mimi, and then suddenly Mimi was gone. I challenged my daughter over, why are you often changing your phone number? Why are you often disappearing for months at a time? And she confided that Bruno was quite hands-on with her, and he would lose his temper, smash her phones up.
That wasn't all. Marie also was not allowed to drive, leaving her entirely dependent on him for transportation. And if she managed to get a job, Fenelon will force her to quit unless the hours perfectly conform to his personal schedule. He demanded total submission from her. Her brother David later shared that if Fenelon came home for dinner and Marie didn't physically fix his plate and hand it to him, he would leave the home and refuse to eat. Now, when you hear all this craziness, you think nobody knew about it, but that wasn't the case. It says that law enforcement has a paper trail on Jean-Bruno Fenelon.
The reports over in Gatineau.
When we were reviewing this case at the beginning, we learned that there were 3 incidents in Gatineau, Quebec. Those who may not know, Ottawa and Gatineau are just separated by a couple bridges in the river.
They lived together in Gatineau before. They had been living together since 2017.
We understand that she had called the Gatineau police indicating harassment, potentially even threats that may have happened.
She called the police. She said, I'm like harassing her. I'm not harassing her because I'm calling for my kid. I want to know if they're okay or not. Because
in November, she reached out to social services, and she moved from Gatineau to a shelter, a hotel in downtown Ottawa. And the next day, he called the Gatineau police to report that she left with his children, and he's concerned for the safety of his children. As a result, the Gatineau police officer reached out to Marie-Gabrielle by phone. She said, no, I left with the kids because he threatened to cut my throat, and he says he has 1 million ways to kill me. The officer asked her if she could attend the police station in Gatineau to file a report, and Marie-Gabrielle never went to police to file a formal complaint.
But by late 2021, Marie had finally had enough. She gathered her strength and she left him. She took her children and went to a shelter, and eventually she was able to get an apartment. During her escape, she sent a desperate text message to her father, who was then living in UK, and she said,
Just in case something happens to me or my kids, just know that I tried. Last night I took the kids and left their father's home as I was fearing for my life and theirs, as he started saying things that make someone fear for their life. I'm at a safe place now, right now. Just letting you or anyone know.
You won't believe it. The maggot named Fenelon found his way back into her life when her baby was sick. He exploited her weakness to walk back into her life.
Once Marie-Gabrielle moved to the Edrington address, her daughter became sick. So based on this, Marie-Gabrielle allowed Mr. Fenelon to move with her at the Edrington address in January 2022.
But you know what? It's short-lived because Marie woke up and ultimately kicked him out for good. She then began seeing a new man. He was a local boxer named Jean Israelon. The new partner was starting to care for her, protect her, and show that he could financially provide for her and her babies. And this is what Jean Israelon said about the relationship, and I quote, "I was really deeply in love with that person. She had a beautiful smile. Everything you could even look for in somebody, she had it. As men, it's a lesson for us. We're not supposed to force someone to love us if they don't want to be with us. We have to love them enough to let them go." End of quote. A few weeks before her death, Marie sent Fenelon a definitive message to break things with him. She said, and I quote, "I want nothing to do with you." But for a possessive abuser like Fenelon, a victim moving on is the ultimate trigger. That message threw Fenelon into an explosive, jealous rage. In the week of the murder, the tension reached a boiling point. And on Friday, March 25th, Marie was trying to cut off all ties with Fenelon for good. Whatever she said to Fenelon when he came to pick up the children that day, it didn't go well, because she started to get desperate and texting Nolan saying that Berno is freaking out. He said he's gonna cut off my legs. And the next morning, things got worse, and that's when it escalated to sheer terror. On Saturday, March 26 at 10:24, Marie texted her new boyfriend, and she said, "I need help. This guy don't want to leave my house. This guy wants to fight me. He wants to put his hands on me." And at the same time that she's texting her boyfriend, she's also on the phone talking to Nolan. This is what Nolan said.
The day I got the call from the detective, it was on Monday morning, the 28th of March. And he's like, "Hi, I'm with the homicide department. I'm calling regarding Murray." And the whole world stopped around me. I broke down.
She informed me that on the Friday before, so March 26th, 2022, Marie-Gabrielle had left with another man.
She had gone out the previous night, the Friday night, with her boyfriend, Jean Israelon. The Saturday morning, we were on the phone on and off, and she had told me then that she was completely done with her relationship with Jean Fenelon. She wanted to break things off with him and everything. So that morning when we called each other, that's exactly what she was doing. She was breaking things off with him. She was telling him to get out of the house, to pack his things and leave. And he was just arguing back and forth with her that he wasn't leaving, that he didn't want to leave. Our calls, I believe, started around like 8:30 a.m., 9 a.m. that Saturday morning, and our last call was around 12. And she goes, "He just left." And I go, "Okay." And then just as she says, "He just left," somebody walks back into the house and she starts yelling, "Get the out of my house, get the out of my house." So I was just like, okay, she's standing her ground, and the phone just dropped, but the call was still going on. But I just couldn't hear anything, so I just thought she might have muted me. So I just stayed on the phone and I waited for her to come back on. So I stayed on the phone for about 7 minutes, and I just said, "Hey, if you can hear me, call me back." And I hung up, and then, yeah, I never heard back from her.
When Ottawa police and paramedics finally entered the basement on Monday, March 28th, the forensic evidence painted a horrific picture of a woman that was fighting for her life, and this is what they said.
I arrive at the scene. Uniform officers are already at the scene. Paramedics are also now on scene. Nothing stood out at that location, that neighborhood I'm familiar with. They direct us to the unit in question where the victim, Marie, was located.
Marie-Gabrielle was found deceased on her back with trauma to her face. and a bloody 30-pound iron cast dumbbell beside her head. The scene was a very gruesome scene. There was a lot of blood. There was a lot of blood spatters. There was also a lot of footprints. Marie-Gabrielle was found barefoot, so there was a lot of her footprints within the scene and some drag marks. And those footprints led to the stairwells, and they stop at the stairwells, and the drag marks leads further in the basement towards her last resting place. It was obvious by the footprints and the drag marks that Marie-Gabrielle tried to get away from her attacker.
Jean Bernal is the one that told me that there was a dumbbell beside her head and the dumbbell was full of blood.
The forensic pathologist mentioned that she had been hit with that dumbbell at least twice. She sustained 2 holes on the side of right here and a hole on her forehead.
And just the thought of using a 30-pound dumbbell, that's obviously quite a heavy object that takes quite a bit of force to swing. Obviously, we do see some blunt force trauma-related injuries and homicides, but the 30-pound dumbbell, that was not something I had ever seen used before.
The impact was so forceful that it caused 2 hinge fractures at the base of her skull. Normally, you see those kinds of injuries during a motor vehicle collision or a fall from a great height. Marie-Gabrielle was also hit several times with the stick that we found. She was hit on her chest, on her back, on her hands, on her legs, on her forearms. That's the indentation. That's a piece of wood. Yeah, that's her right hand. The marks on their forearms were described by the forensic pathologist as defensive wound. There's the indentation, the exact measurement of the side of that stick. Yeah. There was also something very important too within the crime scene. We found a boot print.
There was noticeable tread from what appeared to be a Timberland boot on the floor that was left inside the pool of blood. And with the amount of blood that was found at the scene of the crime, it was also likely that there would have been some bloody clothing that belonged to the accused.
Once you look at the whole scene, the bloody footprints, the drag marks, piece of wood, the dumbbell that was used to kill her, 30-pound dumbbell, in my opinion, this crime was very personal.
View that the detective believed that the crime was personal. In other words, the person who committed the crime is somebody that actually knew Marie, and her ex-partner was the one that found her body and called 911. Understandably, he has to be interrogated. So, the detective brought him into the interrogation room to get the full story. I'm gonna be playing the footage, but let me warn you guys, this guy is so cold that it is scary, okay? For somebody that you profess to love, that you lived with for 7 years, that you have children with, and that's the emotion that you're given. Honestly, this man was the personification of wickedness. Indeed. Go ahead and check it out.
I speak to Jean, identify myself as an investigator. I asked him a few simple questions, his name and a little bit of background information. He was sitting in his car on the roadway a short distance from the house, and he had 2 small children in the car with him. We make some arrangements to have the children picked up by a family member, and Jean agrees to attend the police station to be interviewed.
Coffee's good?
Yes, good.
So before we get started, so you know, it's being recorded?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So I come into the interview room.
Unfortunately, I did tell you, sadly I had to tell you at the scene, that she passed away. So this is a homicide investigation, okay?
This is still early, mid-morning at this point.
You last saw her on Saturday?
Yeah.
He tells us he doesn't have any communication with Marie over the course of the weekend, and then returns Monday morning to drop off the children. He explained he arrives at the house, the front door is unlocked. He enters the house, he's yelling out her name.
So when I knocked, Knock, knock, knock. There was nothing. No response. So I touched the door. The door just opened. So I went upstairs. I was like, Mary, Mary, Mary. Nothing. I checked the washroom. Nothing.
There's no response. And then ultimately he goes down to the basement of the house and finds Marie on the floor.
So I went downstairs. She was just laying down there. There was blood all over the floor. And my lifted weight was like next to her.
You said she had a friend over on Friday or Saturday?
Has Jean provided some information about other, how he described Marie being with other males, and that it possibly may be one of those people that came in and killed Marie? And he goes on to provide a theory that, oh, maybe she invited someone over and that person hit her over the head, or maybe someone came in and hit her over the head. Jean did bring up a theory that Marie Gabriel was involved in sex trade.
Presenting the victim as a high-risk sex worker, it potentially could lead us down any number of rabbit holes. It could be any number of unknown persons.
These are all investigative avenues that need to be pursued now that this information has been provided to us.
I have all those kids here. I thought he was going to help me to put them to sleep, you know? He's like, well, I'm going out.
Jean Fenelon describes the weekend prior to Marie's death as he had spent some time with Marie. They were together during the evening. They had the children with them. And then he describes the vehicle picking Marie up. We need to identify who this person is. Is this a person that is a friend with Marie? Is this a person that harmed Marie and ultimately killed Marie?
She came back in the morning. She came back to me upstairs.
Jean talks about Marie returning home and then that Marie called her friend.
She went back downstairs. She was on her phone the whole time.
This is a new person that we need to follow up with. This is someone that's going to also help us with the timeline.
The little girl of my brother.
This is now a new witness.
Was laying on my chest. I was like feeding her, giving her milk, you know. She kept telling me to leave. My girl now. She kept telling me to leave.
It's unclear when exactly, but Jean indicates that he leaves with the children for the weekend with the promise that he's going to return the children to Marie on Monday morning.
So I took them, and then she's like, you know what, just bring them back on Monday, which is today.
When we first approached him, he was unaware of Marie Gabriel's death. When we informed him that Marie had passed, he became extremely emotional, visibly upset.
It's amazing to me how can he be visibly upset. I'm not sure if you guys recall that during the 911 call, he alluded to Marie has already been dead. If you don't remember, let me refresh your memory. Check this out.
Yeah, I'm doing that. She's not moving.
She's not moving. I understand. Is there any response from her at all?
No, nothing at all.
Nothing? Okay.
It's just like somebody smashed her head or something.
I don't think there is one genuine bone in this guy's body, okay? And also, he tried to throw anything and everything on the wall to see what stick. And this is his next excuse. Check it out.
Analyzing Jean Israelon's phone revealed that he was nowhere near the scene of the homicide at the time it occurred.
We collect video security footage that clearly places that male at those locations during those times, making it almost impossible that he had any involvement in the death of Marie Gabriel.
There appeared to be a new man in the victim's life, and then it was my duty to look into the nature of that particular relationship.
Maybe she was or had returned with Jean Fenelon and had resumed a relationship with him because of the children. They wanted to be a family, and the jealous boyfriend or jealous ex-boyfriend might have been involved in killing her. That was another theory that was possible.
So the one thing that was not recovered at the crime scene was Marie's cell phone. I don't know if you guys recall, she was texting and talking on that cell phone. So where did it go? Well, the same day, shortly after Marie's phone was either dead or powered off, they saw Jean Fenelon's white Toyota CHR left the area and drove to Petrie Island along the Ottawa River. So that's where they went. Check it out.
this investigation, Marie-Gabrielle's phone, which is another piece of information we really wanted to find.
Instead of searching your phone now, we're going to get a search warrant to do it, okay? Just because it's a criminal investigation. We're also going to seize your vehicle. And I'm not saying that you're involved. We just have to cover all bases, okay?
Well, Mr. Fenelon's vehicle was seized and no evidence linking to the crime was found in the car. So we didn't find any blood, basically, in the car.
The purpose of seizing Jean Fenelon's phone is to extract data to either corroborate what he's telling us in his interview and to see if he's actually truthful. Because he speaks about sending text messages, phone calls with Marie-Gabrielle, being at certain locations. We wanted to confirm that.
One of the first things I did whenever I received this data was I went straight to the location information that was found on the phone. Basically what this allowed me to do was see where his phone was and at what time, and I have a look at the cell phone towers that the cell phone is actually using.
So some inconsistencies from Mr. Fenelon's police interview in the sequence of events. Mr. Fenelon said in his original statement that once he left, he went straight to his mother's place and he stayed there the whole day. While GPS data location on his phone shows that from the Edrington address, he went to his mother's address, but 20 minutes later, he went to Petrie Island in Orleans, and he stayed there for almost 15 minutes.
Once the phone arrived at Petrie Island, it appeared to stop in the area of the parking lot. And it remained stationary in the parking lot. Where the user went in that amount of time, I don't know for sure.
So on the 30th of March, our search team was given a task with a very narrow search, just to check the area where the GPS data locations are on the map. We're trying to find clothing and a cell phone.
So we're here at Petrie Island, and the search unit had come here, searched the parking lot area, down in this bush area as well, and down these footpaths. And they searched all the way down to the entrance of Petrie Island. Ultimately, we were looking for, and the main piece of evidence was her cell phone, but unfortunately at the time they weren't able to find anything.
The phone then leaves the area of Petrie Island and begins traveling west. It then travels south down Highway 417 and then exits again, and eventually it arrives back at the scene of the crime. It then remains there for about 54 minutes before it begins moving again.
One common denominator that I found in many cases is that when those people are committing those crimes, they always think nobody will see them. But unfortunately, there's always a witness somewhere. Someone always saw what's going on and reported. And that's exactly what happened in Fenelon's case. And that was the beginning of the end for him. Check it out.
One of the witnesses that we spoke to was another resident of the same housing complex. She had observed Jean Fenelon coming and going in the afternoon. And this was one of the first pieces of evidence that we actually received that began to contradict the story that Jean Fenelon was giving us. So that was the first moment where I was thinking it's possible that he's not telling us the truth. At this point, we were able to obtain some surveillance video located at opposite ends of the street that led up to the residence. Soon after the homicide was reported, we did also speak to the mother of Jean Fenelon. Another slight red flag, she said he had arrived in the early afternoon, which would have actually been about a few hours after whenever he said he had arrived. And another interesting thing that revealed itself in doing so was that I realized while he was going to Petrie Island, while he was returning to the scene, while he was going back to Orleans, throughout that time period, he was still texting with Marie-Gabrielle.
The part that stood out, or parts I should say, that stood out the most about that interview is Jean Fenelon's criticism towards Marie-Gabrielle.
I would call her the you know, because if a woman you want to be respected, so why are you cheating? Why are you doing all those kind of things, you know?
In the moment I'm listening to Jean describe Marie Gabriel, and I'm thinking to myself, there is no love there. There's no compassion there. He doesn't care about Marie one bit.
He called her names. He said she was cheating on him. He didn't show any emotions, but that doesn't give us grounds to believe that he killed her.
Like pushing me and all that, even like choke me by the neck, like all those kind of things.
Okay.
But I always keep it cool. I never fight her.
He talks about the past arguments, physical arguments they've had, maybe from both parties at this point. I don't know. There was something there that wasn't adding up. Like either they're living together and they're jointly involved in raising the children, or they're separated and they have some sort of separation agreement and child custody agreement. And he described the situations as being merged, which didn't make sense to me.
And he also failed to tell us that he returned to the scene, which to me are two big mistakes he made. Compiling all this information, I was satisfied that we had enough grounds to arrest Mr. Fenelon for murder. So he came in on his own. On the alert that would return his car, then we arrested him. Until I arrest someone, I don't have a motive, right? I don't know a motive.
Well, sir. Well, how are you? I'm good. I'm very good, thanks. Nice to meet you. This is March 30th, 2022. This is my first time meeting Mr. Fenelon. He had been arrested a few hours before. I want to establish cooperation.
What did I do?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah.
What did I do?
That's a good question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why I'm here? Like I'm here because I called the police, like, oh, I found my girlfriend laying on the ground dead.
You find that to be unfair?
It is very unfair.
I decided to do what's called a reenactment. Tell me exactly the words she used.
She's like, get out of my house.
Okay.
Get out of my house. This is what she said. She pushed me, get out of my house. So I get out. I went inside the car again. I was just sitting there. And then she kept dropping bags one by one outside.
So what I'm trying to do is basically, let's bring him back to the actual scene. Let's bring him back to that actual day.
Like this?
Okay, so kind of show me how she was doing it.
Like...
Yeah, like go ahead, without hurting me, but, kind of show me.
You really want me to do that?
Yeah.
It was like this.
Yeah.
Like this,
Yeah.
Get out of my house.
Okay.
And then I was like, fine. And then I left. She had the phone the whole time. She just pushed me with one hand.
But she was pushing you with one hand?
Yes.
Okay. So in this particular stage of the statement that Mr. Fenelon is providing me, he's confirming that Mary had a phone in her hand. She was on the phone, which discorroborates the actual statement from Norland. There's a gap in the timeline. And on the 26th, the 11:30-ish mark, between 11:30 and noon, is a critical time. This is the end of cell phone activity of Miss Gabrielle.
So on this day, did you ever come back?
No, I was, but I didn't come back.
Okay.
I didn't get inside the place, so.
Because initially you said you stayed at your mom the entire day and you were there all day. Okay. Now, sometimes, people think about things after the fact, okay? Do you remember returning here on the Saturday?
I don't think I did. Oh yeah, I left with 2 kids. I left with 2 kids, and then I came back for my 2 other kids. The first was my brother kids.
Yeah.
And then after that was my 2 kids. We didn't there was no agreement, saying bad things to each other, no.
So the original timeline provided by him, he leaves at the 11:30-ish mark, and then he never returns up until the Monday morning when he discovers her body. This is a major blow to the actual timeline. He brings us back to the actual house about an hour-ish after when you originally left, when there is that altercation.
Based on the evidence that we've gathered here so far, all right, we know who killed and caused the death of Mary. Okay? And that was you.
That was me.
That was you.
I didn't kill Mary.
Who did then?
I don't know. You think it's me, but I have no idea.
This is where he needed to know that there was absolutely no doubt in the mind of the investigators, especially Detective Guy Seguin, that he was the one responsible for the murder of Mary Gabrielle.
So this is the tracker that was connected to you, okay, pertaining to your phone. So everywhere we go with our phone, it leaves a trace. You leave your mom's place, and you go to Petrie Island.
I didn't go exactly into Petrie Island. I passed by Petrie Island.
He wants to distance himself very much from Petrie Island.
And what brought you there, going from your mom to there?
Well, maybe to clear up night.
Or what evidence are they going to find in that vicinity, even in the water?
There's no knife, there's nothing.
Well, I'm not talking about knives or any item whatsoever that will be connected to either you or Mary.
I don't think there's anything.
That morning, we decided to come to Petrie Island after Detective Seguin decided to expand the search. We searched the parking lot a little bit. Eventually, we decided, let's go have a look at the shoreline, because the search unit hadn't searched this area, and it'd be a great area to get rid of evidence, you know, throwing anything in the water. On March 31st, this was covered in snow, and the water was frozen. And that's where we saw the boot, the Timberland boot, just at the frozen edge was the boot standing right there. And then when we continued to look around, we saw some clothing just at the beginning of the ice shelf, close to the edge of the water. There was gray, like a hoodie sweatshirt, and some black pants as well. During that time, another investigator located the other boot on the beach just a little bit further down. Ultimately, we couldn't find her cell phone.
A few days later, the ice would have melted and we would have lost all of this evidence.
And eventually we sent both boots and the clothing to the Center of Forensic Science to be analyzed for DNA.
Mary Gabrielle's blood was found on all 4 items. The inside back collar of the shirt was swabbed and it returned to be Mr. Fenelon's DNA. As for the boots were covered with blood spatter when it returned to Mr. Fenelon's DNA.
So, after the investigation and interrogation, Fenelon was arrested and officially charged. Initially, it was for second-degree murder, but after they found out the brutal nature of the crime and how calculated that it was, then the charge was upgraded to first-degree murder, and I think the trial lasted about 6 weeks. Then it took 3 days for the jury to convict him of first-degree murder, and then he was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison without parole. These are a few notable things that happened. First of all, Marie's 2 children, Asher and his sister, they were placed into the care of Child's Aid Society, which in the United States, it's DCS, Department of Child Services. And the family was very frustrated, and they said, you know, their heart breaks for the children because they were not contacted them immediately to take them in, which is understandable. And also, they had a GoFundMe for Marie's funeral. I think it was supposed to be $10,000, but they raised a lot more than $10,000, which was good, showing you how much she was loved. But I want to close this case with a direct, raw message from Marie's brother and her father.
Thank you. And Sam, just to add just one more thing before we leave.
Of course.
Would be family members out there. This is a message to them. If any of your son or your daughters message you about problems at home with a partner, answer you should never say is they will work it out. That's what I did, and now she's gone. So, and it's very painful to know that. So we should not. I know the very common answer nowadays is let them work their problems out.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the right answer. We should get involved and really see what's going on and really try and understand the situation, and if anywhere they need help, get them out and get that help for them.
Thank you, David. Last couple of seconds to you, Andy.
Yeah, I say if anybody, you're away from your kids, give them a call, say hi, remind them how much you love them. If you're lucky enough to be near them, give them a hug, let them know you love them. I'm on my way to Ottawa at some point soon, but unfortunately I'm coming to say goodbye to Mimi. I'm not coming to say hi. So I'm not going there to say to her, give her a hug and say to her I love her. I'm too late. Please, if you've got children out there in the same situation, don't be too late, please.
I would like to take this time to say a big thank you to Global News Crime Beat, CBC News Ottawa, the Ottawa Citizen, the CityNews Ottawa for the comprehensive coverage of this trial and bringing this case to light. And these are also the sources that I use to make this video. And lastly, please take a moment to drop a purple ribbon in the comment below to honor the memory of Marie Gabrielle. And remember, we are only as strong as the women we uplift and protect. Thanks again for watching this video today, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video to spread awareness in our community. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.